Hey you guys, how's it going? I am Gary, or the Shapish Joint here, and wow! Look at the length of this video. I really did not intend for the video to be this long. With this being the original series, I can't help but say a lot of good things about the duels that are on this list. The original series, as we all know, is a classic. Probably one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh series out there. For some, it still is the best. But for me, I don't think it was the best anymore, and I really thought it was the best for a while now, but still, here we go, my top 10 favorite duels of the original Yu-Gi-Oh series.
Number 10, Yugi vs. Arcana, or Pandora in the Japanese dub. Okay, so starting off this list is a duel that I feel is really underrated and gets buried by other duels of the original series that have been produced. This duel in a lot of ways for me is kind of like Yugi facing off against his exact opposite. Being the main target of Merrick and his rare hunters, he comes face to face with Arcana, and I actually like that they bear the Pandora, even though Pandora is a more fitting name. This duel had a lot of back and forth action that turned into a battle of wits, with everyone mostly knows it as the battle between Dark Magicians, with Yugi and Arcana both bringing them out on the field almost immediately, and have to rely on their back row cards to protect them. Going back to what I said about this being a duel of Yugi against his complete opposite, it really does feel that way. You have Yugi and his Dark Magician, who has a more calm, friendly expression, perfectly matching Yugi's kind, noble, and protective personality, while Arcana's Dark Magician has a really evil expression reflecting Arcana's own dark, insane, and downright sadistic personality, as he has all kinds of cards to destroy Yugi's Dark Magician in a rather cruel and sadistic manner, with gleeful expressions on his face. Also, I'd like to say to my viewers and my friends, the Dark Magician girl is my wife. So those of you who like to oogle her, back off. She's mine. Number 9. Yugi vs. Bakura during the Millennium World arc. Another duel that I feel is underrated and doesn't get much attention in favor of the final duel. Yugi vs. Bakura is a favorite of mine, not only for some really entertaining battle with the cards, but rather for the story and epic foreshadowing it displayed. Yugi was basically the original protagonist of the series, with Yugi, even though he was billed as the main protagonist, was more of a class 2 or second row protagonist, but he wasn't the dirtagonist. Yugi really did all the work, he took care of all the action, he had all the epic moments, while Yugi was more of a voice of reason on the back burner most of the time. We have seen Yugi duel before, and every time he did duel, he was in no way, shape, or form bad. But he was always someone to rely on the Pharaoh for support, being a rather timid and shy person who seriously lacked confidence in himself. But now, here we are with Yugi, who does doubt himself at one point in the duel, but quickly gets over that, fighting to help the Pharaoh realize in his own destiny and remember his own name, displaying his own strength without the Pharaoh helping him in the slightest. Even Anzu and Bakura take notice of Yugi's newfound resolve, and Yugi pulls on some nicely made strategic plays to defeat Bakura in a duel that kept me on the edge of my seat, and always does do so no matter how many times I watch this duel. Plus, it was epic foreshadowing of what was to come a few episodes later. Number 8, Joey vs. Kaiba in Battle City. So, after being defeated by Merrick and Yugi respectively, Joey challenges Kaiba to a battle for 3rd place, with Kaiba initially declining Joey's challenge, but eventually accepts it. What makes me love this duel is, despite it being a filler duel, it does clearly show just how much Joey's grown over the course of the series. Joey went from a total amateur who lost to Anzu, of all people, on a frequent basis, and winning essentially all his duels with luck in Duelist Kingdom, into a duelist who made the top 4 of a big tournament with his own immensely improving skills, despite also relying on a low luck too much. Back on their first duel in Duelist Kingdom, Kaiba basically made Joey bend over after kicking the ever-loving out of him. But here, he was able to survive against Kaiba, who was also stronger from the last time they fought, even gave Kaiba a few surprises, and put up a good fight after having his deck destroyed in the beginning of the duel, and was nearly defeated, even earning some praise from Kaiba. Despite getting stopped again for the most part, Joey did pull off some good moves against Kaiba, even managing to swipe his blue eyes. And after this duel, you can't help but wonder, if Joey had access to his stronger cards, would he have been able to actually beat Kaiba? Would he actually fare a little bit better? We'll never know, but this duel is a delight to watch. Number 7. Yugi vs. Raphael. Round 1. Ah yes, the fan favorite Raphael duel. Now, the Seal of Calcos arc is one that's mixed among the fans. Me personally, I actually really do like it. I've seen worse filler arcs, but I've seen better, and this is one of the better filler arcs of the entire franchise. In order to secure Professor Hawkins, Yugi decides to head to Death Valley alone to meet Raphael's challenge, and Raphael is a character that I always found to be rather interesting. At first, he comes off as maybe an evil and condescending character. When you watch a duel, you really see that he's far from that, really. Despite all of his taunting, he's in no way, shape, or form evil, or at least he's far less evil compared to the rest of the Doma swordsmen. He's easily the most down-to-earth member of Doma, and really, he was the only one who didn't have a selfish goal. Really, rather than a villain, I see Raphael as more along the lines of a well-intentioned extremist. He does do morally questionable things, but it's for a good purpose. He only wants peace. To rid the world of evil, and genuinely did believe darts could bring about that, even though he had no idea he was being used by darts. It's also rare to see, if you want to classify someone like Raphael as a villain, actually love and respect their cards and play so competently. We've seen past villains like Arcana who mercilessly sacrifices monsters left and right, while we have someone like Raphael who would give up his own life to protect his monsters. The shock moment of the duel was obviously seeing Yugi use the Seal of Calcos when backed into a corner by Raphael, and really this was such an unnecessary thing to do. Until he actually played the Seal of Calcos, there was nothing at stake. He could have lost and nothing would have happened. Everyone could have walked away unharmed. And really, playing the Seal of Calcos would prove to be his downfall. This duel was another case to show that the monsters each duelist used aren't just holograms created by Solid Vision, but actual creatures who have souls of their own. They normally don't seem to mind being sacrificed as long as it really helps their owner win, kind of like taking one for the team. But the way Yugi just brutally sacrificed them all, one after the other, is what ultimately led to Yontos absorbing their power to increase her own power to a whopping 10,000, to create probably the biggest shock of the entire franchise, where Yugi actually lost. I mean, seriously, literally no one saw this coming. Number 6, Yugi vs. Merrick. Battle City finalists? Check. Human sacrifices? Check. Shadow Game background? Check. Egyptian gods ready to throw down? Triple check. Okay, we got everything we need for an amazing duel, and we got just that. The final confrontation between Yugi facing Merrick, what was sure to be the match above all matches, and while it wasn't that, obviously, it was still an amazing one. We have really good back and forth action from both sides, with Merrick utilizing a huge arsenal of devastating traps to go with the theme of his immortality deck, to repeatedly use Ra to devastate Yugi and destroy both of his Egyptian gods. And Yugi himself outsmarting Merrick in various ways, using his Egyptian gods to do serious damage to Merrick. But the ending of the duel felt a little anticlimactic, but it was still good. Yugi's way of defeating Merrick was unexpected and honestly kinda dumb. I mean, Yugi destroyed Ra by banishing every monster from his hand, deck, and graveyard, when in reality that's an incredibly dumb card that isn't even worth the price. Otherwise, we still had a really phenomenal duel. Fitting into the battle scene. Number 5, Joey vs. Merrick. One of the most anticipated duels of the Battle City arc, after his not love interest dies or sent to the Shadow Realm. Joey desperately tries to lose in the Fatal 4-Way match to ensure he'll duel Merrick in the semifinals, wanting to avenge Mai's defeat and rescue her. Joey was always one of my favorite characters in the original series for a lot of reasons. One, he's an underdog, and who doesn't love an underdog? We see him grow from a complete amateur to a respectable duelist, and for his tenacity. He knows full well what he's getting himself into by facing Merrick, and doesn't back down, believing he can win and endure the pain that his monsters are feeling in a shadow game, and still gets back up wanting to keep going, and doesn't want to stop until he knows for sure he's defeated Merrick. I've already talked about how much he's improved in his duel against Kaiba. He mostly shines here in his battle with Merrick, being able to gain the upper hand at one point, give him a few surprises, and even force Merrick to admit he severely underestimated him and was in complete disbelief that he actually had to use Raw against him, and ultimately gave Merrick the biggest shock of his life, the crowning moment of awesome, by surviving being toasted alive by Raw. Like a Quiznos sub sandwich. Literally no one expected him for him to still be standing after that attack. And when I saw this as a kid, I got so excited when I saw that. I actually thought he was gonna win. So you can imagine how upset I was to see that he lost. He was so close, but tripped at the finish line. He was one word away from winning. All he had to do was say attack. It would have been over. Also, in the manga, he actually died for a few minutes. But for the anime, he was just put into a coma. But still, this duel is epic, and it made me love Joey as a character more than I already did. Still awesome that he survived Raw's attack though. Even Merrick admitted that he didn't expect Joey to push him that far. Number 4. Yugi and Kaiba vs. Darts. Now tell me, who's the best tag team in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh franchise? Yusei and Jack, definitely. If they have amazing teamwork, their decks flow well into each other, these two are definitely the best tag team in the series. Come at me. I'm not joking around. But second place would definitely be Yugi and Kaiba. Tag team duels are something we hardly ever saw in the original series. We did see them maybe once or twice every story arc, but here we have the Orichalcos arc with the finale of Yugi and Kaiba teaming up to face a common enemy with darts. At first we see Yugi and Kaiba do have excellent teamwork, calling out a 5,000 attack beat stick in the beginning of the duel, but it doesn't really do much against Darts, who has an unbelievable amount of game-breaking power. So much so that it crosses into you only win because the block demands you win, with Darts having one of the most broken decks in the whole series. I mean, monsters that instantly revive when they're destroyed, monsters that absorb all damage of any kind, monsters that either become equal and can't be destroyed or are guaranteed to be stronger, infinite attack power? How in the in Ra's name is that even fair? What villain in this entire franchise is more broken than Darts? Well, that's right, they're definitely a lot more broken than he is. Look, they wrecked Darts any day of the week. It was interesting to see Darts' backstory of how he ruled over Atlantis before he was corrupted by the Orichalcos, and like I said, you see the potential of Yugi and Kaiba's teamwork. It's always nice to see them team up, and Yugi at one point doesn't have the mental will to keep fighting. He doesn't regain his fighting spirit until Kaiba loses and dies right in front of him. Then Yugi proceeds to summon all 3 legendary dragons and turn them into their true forms, the Knights of Atlantis, and beats Darts in one of the most BS ways ever conceived, creating a monster whose attack power is infinity +1. Even though there is no such thing as infinity +1, as infinity isn't a number, but a concept used to describe a value greater than any number. So I'd like to know, how the did he do that?
It's called cheating. Deal with it.
Of course, you break the laws of physics, math, and Duel Monsters by cheating. Sounds legit. Also, this is one of the longest duels of the franchise, spanning on for 6 episodes. Despite that insane length, this was still an amazing duel that is a must-watch for any Yu-Gi-Oh fan. Kaiba vs. Siegfried. Talk about a rivalry and a grudge match. After Siegfried hacked the Kaiba core computer, he's been found out, and Kaiba gives him a chance to fight for his right to stay in the KC Grand Prix, which was a complete mess. Even this duel can't save that story arc. So it gives him a right to fight for his chance to stay in the tournament by challenging him to a duel. Siegfried, for a filler villain, is one of the more realistic villains compared to others with the more realistic goals. Other villains want to rule and destroy the world, while Siegfried really wanted nothing more than to capitalize on the decreasing stock of Kaiba Corp and destroy it, as well as increase the stock of his own company. Siegfried's grudge against Kaiba is really nothing more than just being mad that Kaiba basically one-upped him at almost every turn, coming up with the same ideas and getting them published first. Kind of a childish reason to bear a grudge, but oh well. The duel itself is one that makes this list for mostly how entertaining it is. We have them being rather evenly matched for the most part, with Kaiba's strategies of banishing his monsters and superior dueling skills, battling the OP effects of Siegfried's Valkyries. I also love the small touch of the Ride of Valkyries opera score to this duel. The best part of the duel was the ending with Kaiba pulling off this amazingly beautiful combo to bring back his banished monsters and take down Siegfried in one fell swoop, as well as that badass line he gives after defeating Siegfried for bonus points. In the end, a rat will always be a rat. You can never defeat me, the king of all animals. Now stand in awe of my pure awesomeness. Number 2. Kaiba and Yugi vs. Noah. An amazing duel that was the finale to an otherwise mediocre arc. Starting out with Kaiba vs. Noah, we have something along the lines of them dueling over Kaiba's body and who'd run Kaiba Corp. After putting the main cast through virtual hell, kidnapping and brainwashing Mokuba, they finally have their much anticipated confrontation. I love this with both their decks, speaking about the participants of both duels. With Noah using the 7 Turns of Creation deck, focusing on the past with different stages of each different time period of the Earth's history, while Kaiba uses a deck that focuses mostly on the future as well as light monsters such as Different Dimension Dragon, Kaiser Seahorse, and Blue Eyes White Dragon, representing pride, power, and resilience. I have mixed feelings on the Virtual World arc. I like how it gave us more insight on Kaiba's character and how he got to where he is and why he's so prideful. And in addition to seeing that even he has a soul, towards the middle of the duel, Kaiba has Noah beaten and outplayed before he can declare a final attack. Noah brings in Mokuba to act as a human shield, knowing Kaiba won't attack as long as he has him, severely crippling his chances at victory. And you see just how much Kaiba loves his younger brother, who really is all he has in the world, desperately hoping he can draw Blue Eyes to bring Mokuba back to his senses. And when he does do so, Noah finally brings out his true deckmaster Shinada, who defeats Kaiba. Which afterwards, Yugi tells off Noah for using such an underhanded tactic to defeat Kaiba, while in the dub he accuses Noah of cheating. Which is an interesting accusation, as Yugi is both right and wrong with that one. He's wrong because as far as an actual duel goes with technical Duel Monsters, Noah fairly did beat Kaiba. But Yugi is right because Noah's conduct in the duel itself and outside of it was morally wrong in more ways than one, pulling a dirtier stunt than what Kaiba pulled at Duelist Kingdom. Which is actually really ironic. I mean, Yugi tells off Noah for pulling a dirty trick like using Mokuba as a human shield, but apparently has no hard feelings about Kaiba putting him in an ultimatum of let me win or I commit suicide. Nonetheless, Yugi decides to challenge Noah to finish the duel in Kaiba's stead. Yugi vs. Noah was a battle of your typical bond of friendships and speeches and all that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yugi faces off against Noah and Kaiba's steed using both of the mesh of their decks together to carry on Kaiba's spirit along with his own power. Yugi finds a more difficult challenge in Noah than Kaiba did. Noah switched from a 7 Turns of Creation deck to a Spirit Monsters deck, who have a wide variety of nasty effects, various cards to increase his LP, as well as having a deck master to transfer any life points that Yugi loses to himself, putting Yugi at a further disadvantage as Noah's life points maxed out at 11,000 in this duel. Kaiba's duel against Noah was one about pride, while Yugi's duel was one about bonds, with Yugi being stirred on by his friends who Noah turns into stone one by one, and being driven by the bond of Kaiba and Mokuba. The duel has even better back and forth action than Noah and Kaiba's duel, and we see Noah's spirit monsters who have some very devastating effect. Yugi summons all of his dark magicians, while using some of Kaiba's cards to stay in the game. But the crowning moment of awesome in this duel was how Yugi pulls off one of the most BS wins in the history of this entire show. He's down 100 life points to Noah's 10,000 and top decks a card that allows him to refill his hand and pulls off the most statistically impossible yet perfect 6-card combo to defeat Noah. BS? Oh yes. Awesome, most definitely.
And before I unveil my number one pick for my favorite duel of Duel Monsters, here go a list of my honorable mentions. Duels I also enjoyed but didn't make the list. And so this original series, which was so good, there are a lot of them. And now, here you are with my number one pick for my favorite duel of Duel Monsters. Number 1, Yugi vs. Kaiba at Battle City. A duel that was anticipated for over a year, and when it came, it didn't disappoint. While Kaiba isn't my favorite rival, and I don't even think he and Yugi have the best rivalry, I do think this is hands down the best rivalry match in the entire series. After Kaiba got his hands on Obelisk, the Tormentor, he's ready to go for another round with Yugi, who would later come into possession of Slight for the Sky Dragon. Now he's even more determined to face Yugi. Yugi and Kaiba have a rivalry that goes all the way back to their past Egyptian lives. With history repeating itself, you can't help but wonder, how would this turn out? There were moments where honestly I didn't know who would win. They started off slowly, started picking up more strategic plays and stopping each other from summoning the other's Egyptian god card. And when you finally do see them summon them, you just can't wait to see them brawl to see who comes out on top. And when they finally did go at it, they wind up destroying each other. And once their god cards destroy each other, they shift back into fighting with their ace cards, who they almost seemingly forgot about in Battle City. So not only do we see them go at it with their Egyptian god cards, now we get to see Blue Eyes and the Dark Magician go at it? Sweet jumping Christmas is that awesome. Can this get any better? Of course it does, with them making rather evenly matched plays, so it comes down to they just have 3 cards in their deck, and you can't help but wonder, what cards do they pick? How are they going to be able to counter each other now? Then we come to the final showdown, with both of them bringing out fusion monsters, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon versus Dark Paladin. And in the end, Yugi defeats Kaiba by destroying, not Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, but by defusing it and destroying all 3 Blue Eyes at once. I love how Yugi just overkilled Kaiba. He could have destroyed 1 Blue Eyes and still won, but nope, we're going to destroy all 3 of them at the same time. Man, this duel was amazing. It was teased for over a year and it didn't disappoint. I love the flashback to their past lives, seeing their Egyptian god cards duke it out, all of their evenly matched back and forth counters, and Blue Eyes and Dark Magician squaring off again into a final fusion battle. This is the longest one-on-one duel of the franchise, spanning 6 episodes, tying with Yugi and Kaiba versus Darks. Not only is this my favorite duel of the original series, but one of my favorite duels of the entire franchise as a whole. Kudos to all of you who actually stayed and watched this entire video, but that's it for Yu-Gi-Oh! Series for now. I will do Arc 5 when the series ends, but for now, this is the end for Countdown Duels. I will do other Countdown Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, but until then, thank you all for watching this video. I am Gary, Clearwing Synchro Dragon, or the Sheepish 31. Stay gold, everyone. Pound it.